Israel's religious affairs minister has unveiled an ambitious new plan to totally overhaul Israel's kosher certification process and break up the rabbinate's total monopoly on this industry. If the proposal goes through, it would be the biggest change in the religion-state balance in Israel in generations. The idea of privatizing Kashrut certification, opening up the industry of certifying kosher food, slaughter, and eateries to private agencies has sparked fury from ultra-Orthodox leaders. The head of the religious Shas party, former minister Aryeh Deri, said the plan would crush Israel's Jewish identity. The minister's plan would establish a series of private agencies that would be required to uphold standards established by the chief rabbinate. Each individual company would have to be headed by a rabbi, but a private agency would be able to issue a lower-level, non-rabbinate approved kosher standard and could say legally it's a kosher restaurant, even if it's open on Shabbat or other Jewish holidays. With us now is Rabbi Dov Halbertal, a former top aide to an Israeli chief rabbi, and Yehuda Zeiderman, director of Kashrut for Tzohar. Tzohar, 3 years ago, launched the first private kosher certification agency after a high court ruling. Thank you so much, both of you, for being with me. Rabbi Halbertal, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts on what Tzohar is doing right now, issuing kosher certificates outside of the rabbinate?
I think it's a terrible idea. And it really comes that the new government, leftists, in some way even reform, they want to really change the Jewish identity of the state. It will begin with the kashrut, it will end with the conversion, and that's it's a political act. Mainly a political act, because as you stated before, the chief rabbinate in two generations, as a national institute, they are responsible on the kashrut. I was there. It's a wonderful place, very good place, very established, prominent rabbis. Everybody recognizes them, everybody knows them, and they give kashrut for the all citizens in Israel. Now it will change. It will be a private enterprise, and it will be business, no kashrut. Nobody can rely upon it, will be able to rely upon it. And it means they want to make a political act and to change the Jewish identity of the state.
Yehuda, I want to get Yehuda's reaction. Does this water down Israel's Jewish identity, and it watered down the idea of holding strict certification and strict identity of Jewish law?
Okay, I would like to say briefly that there's a complete ununderstanding between what's happening in the offices of the Rabbanut and what's happening in the streets. The streets are not run as they should. What's happening, and there's not real kashrut in many, many places. The kashrut is not as it should be, and everyone knows it. There's a lot of discussion about it. And because of the great disappointment of the Israeli society from the things that the kashrut of the Rabbanut does, that this operation started. And then I must say, I think there's a complete misunderstanding of the whole move. The move that the government is looking to do now is just legalizing the situation that is happening today in Israel. Today, the ultra-Orthodox that are running the Rabbanut do not eat kosher food from the Rabbanut supervision. They eat badatz. In the world of tomorrow, they will be able to eat badatz, the same badatz, but without the certificate of the Rabbanut. From their point of view, nothing happened. So what is the problem? You do not eat the food today, you will not eat it tomorrow. That's exactly the idea. And we do not understand in Tzohar, and I think also in the government, they do not understand what's the big deal.
Rabbi, your reaction to that?
Nobody, I am a Haredi. I don't rely on the kashrut of the chief rabbinate. I want more. I want better kashrut. But I want to be fair enough for all citizens of Israel, the traditionals, the light religions, and others, all the other millions not Haredi in Israel. I want to give them the best kashrut I can give for them. And it means I want to be honest in the way I give the kashrut. I don't want it to be a business, that people will run after money. And the Rabbanut is the national and established way to do it, and they are doing it for generations.
But do you, Rabbi, do you see
everybody relies upon them.
Rabbi, do you see that there are problems in the Rabbanut regarding kashrut that need to be fixed? There is lapses and problems that have to be addressed.
There are no systems that there are no problems in them. Take the courts here in Israel, the legal method. Of course, you have problems everywhere, and you have to change. Nothing is complete. And of course, you have to make it better. But to take and destroy it, and to destroy because you want to change the DNA of the Jewish identity of the state. This is the real point. To change it, to destroy, not to change. That's the real problem. You can, of course, we have to improve the service, and we are trying to do it. But to take it to destroy it, it will become that so many millions citizens here in Israel will eat not kosher, thinking they are eating kosher.
Yehuda, there are different levels in this plan of kashrut. Different agencies would have different standards, of course, if this goes through. But the idea in general that perhaps there could be a restaurant that has some kind of kashrut certification and be open on Shabbat, let's say. For many, even non-religious Israelis, it's a head-scratching thing to think about.
Exactly. There's no any plan to do that. It's a complete fiction. No one discussed it. It doesn't. It's not written in any proposal, and it's a complete fiction that the people that are not in favor of the plan. One of the easiest methodics to argue with something is to put false information inside and then say that it's not good. So I'm happy to announce now that there's no such thing. There was no such thing. It's not in any plan of anyone to give kosher certificates to any restaurant that is open on Shabbat.
We'll have to.
Torah does not do it today, will not do it ever.
The minister said differently. He said clearly that you will have the option, not every restaurant and every place, but there will be the option to be opened in Shabbat and to take a kashrut. The minister said it clearly, and it will be so. And it's not the Shabbat; it's much, much worse. It's not only the Shabbat. Every restaurant, every place, every hotel, even in Israel, with the new enterprise, will not be kosher. You will not be able to rely upon it. It's a business matter. It's a political matter. It's a disaster. And it means destroying all the kashrut and all the Jewish identity here for generations to be.
Yehuda, your reaction to that the minister, that the religious affairs minister himself said this, that it could happen, that you could be open on Shabbat?
First of all, every hotel in Israel that has a kosher certificate, which is, I think, 99% of the hotels in Israel, is open on Shabbat. That must be said. And kosher meals are being served there, dinner, lunch, and breakfast. I think that the Rabbi Albert Tal itself was probably many times in kosher hotels that served him food. And so, first of all, it happens. And these hotels, waiters are going between the tables and writing and taking orders for Coke and Pepsi Cola. In these hotels, in the lobby, they do check-in and check-out of people. All these hotels have formalic certificates of the Rabbanut. So what is the discussion here? If there will be a restaurant that will be in the same, that will keep the same standards of a hotel, maybe they'll be able to get a kashrut. It doesn't happen today. I must say that personally, I'm not for that. I think that on Shabbat, people have to be in their houses or on the beach with their children, and it doesn't matter if it's religious people or not religious people. I'm not in favor of working on Shabbat. Whoever has to, I salute them or pity them.
Okay.
But if they have to, but I'm not for that. So I will not do any effort for this act. But if there'll be a restaurant that will be open, that will want to be open and have the hotel standards, maybe they will get it. I don't know.